Chapter 23, Part 2, page 456. Basic speaking skills. What follows are some principles that should be used when speaking with others. Identify the main points in the message, organize what will be said, and ensure that while speaking, each main point is addressed. Speak enthusiastically. Be committed to the purpose of the message and show interest and enthusiasm when speaking. Be able to support the information provided. If points are well documented, the listener can concentrate on what is said rather than questioning whether your statements are accurate. Stay focused. Do not ramble, digress, or discuss points that are not critical to your message. Concentrate on the listener rather than on yourself. Remember that the main objective of speaking is to communicate, not make a good impression. Think about the listener's background and speak in a way that will help you ensure that the message is accurately received. Use feedback methods such as asking open-ended questions. For example, why do you think this is a problem? Rather than, is this a problem? Use language that the listener will understand. Be professional. Use appropriate language, tone, and volume. Basic listening skills. A good portion of each day is spent speaking and listening. Practice can help enhance good communication skills, and the results will benefit oneself, coworkers, and others. Some CS technicians spend more time speaking than listening. Basic techniques to improve listening include concentrating on the central idea the speaker is trying to convey, focusing on what the speaker is saying and not becoming distracted. Don't let an uncomfortable physical environment cause distraction. There may be a few places within a busy CS department where the environment is ideal for effective communication, but it is important to try and make the best of it. Not being influenced by emotion. Avoid an immediate evaluation of the message and try to think about its content objectively. Staying engaged, even when the message seems familiar or unimportant, or when the speaker's opinion differs from one's own. Considering the speaker's perception as the message is heard. Understand the speaker's basic ideas about objectively criticizing them. Avoiding just listening for specific facts. There may be additional information that is an important part of the message. Being aware of the speaker's nonverbal communication. Sometimes the speaker's body language can convey additional information. Not tuning out when listening to complicated information. Use feedback such as, I don't really understand what you are saying, or can you please say that in another way, to tell the speaker that the message was not effectively conveyed. Concentrating on the message and its content and not its delivery. Problems with the speaker's voice, speed of speech, and or pronunciation can cause difficulties, but it is important to attempt to learn the real meaning of the message. Allowing the speaker to finish and then reacting fairly to the message that was stated. Don't formulate a response to the message while listening to the speaker. Taking notes when appropriate, if the information is detailed or specific, and or if it will be helpful in the future. Types of communication. Communication flows through formal and informal channels within the CS department. Examples of formal communication include instructions, advice and coaching by managers and supervisors. See figure 23.3 for an example. Facility and departmental policies and procedures that will help regulate behavior and work practices. Discussions in departmental and other meetings. Individual and group training presentations. Facility and departmental bulletins, memos, newsletters, and related communication tools. Performance evaluations. employee work schedules, conversations related to delegated project assignments, and monitoring of ongoing work activities. Definition: coaching. Positive reinforcement used to encourage central service technicians to follow proper work behaviors, and negative reinforcement to discourage inappropriate work behaviors. Informal methods of communication within the CS departments include casual conversations between employees before, during, and after work. Much of this communication is beneficial because it can improve working relationships of staff members. Unfortunately, informal communication can also be damaging. Consider, for example, rumors. Information circulated without the knowledge of its source or with concern about whether it's true. Rumors and grapevine gossip can negatively impact the team and the collective department. False information can cause anxiety and frustration and increase an already stressful work environment. In some cases, information may be true but should not be shared with the team. For example, if a coworker learns of a fellow coworker's personal problems, that information should not be shared unless the affected coworker chooses to share it. Gossiping rumors erode personal relationships and trust. They can waste time and move the CS team's attention away from the real purpose. Telephone, email, and technology etiquette. The manner in which CS technicians answer and speak on the telephone reflects on their department, their facilities, and themselves. The need to be professional, courteous, and helpful is obvious. Each facility has policies and procedures to address professional expectations for telephone and email etiquette. It is important to be aware of your facility's requirements and carefully follow them. See Figure 23.4 for an example. Another concern created by advancing technology is common availability of smartphones and other technologies that enable employees to text, speak, email, and take photographs of almost everywhere and anywhere. In addition to concerns regarding non-productive time, Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, HIPAA, and confidentiality concerns can also become an issue if information captured in personal photos and videos is shared outside of the facility. To ensure compliance, review regulations and facility policies and ask questions as needed. On page 458, I'm going back up to the blue box and reading, whose technology is it? Whose technology is it? Healthcare facilities and the central service departments within them have invested significant financial resources in communications technology. It is increasingly difficult for many people to imagine how they could manage their professional and personal lives without seemingly constant access to wide varieties of computers, copiers, printers, fax machines, telephones, and other electronic communication equipment available. With its convenience, however, comes the opportunity for misuse when facility equipment is used for personal purposes. For example, shopping on the internet, sending personal emails, and photocopying private or personal materials. Problems include time away from the job, increased facility expenses, and the blurring of the distinction between acceptable and unacceptable behaviors. These concerns and other related issues are often addressed in facility policies and identified in employee handbooks and other documents. Professional CS technicians know about these policies, understand their importance, and consistently comply with them. Music in the workplace. Many CS departments allow music to be played in the workplace. Music can promote a more comfortable atmosphere and may make the working experience more enjoyable. What follows are some guidelines for ensuring that music is enjoyed without creating distractions or jeopardizing the professionalism of the department. Type of music. The type of music listened to at work reflects on the CS department and the healthcare facility. Do not listen to music that would be deemed unprofessional by the facility or its staff. When in doubt, don't play it. Lyrics. Lyrics should not be offensive to anyone in the department. Volume. Music should be played on low volume. Background music should allow staff to carry on a normal conversation without having to raise their voices even when near the speakers. Music should not be heard in other areas of the department, public hallways, department offices, etc. If the telephone rings or a person needs to make a call, the music volume should not have to be turned down. It should barely be detected by the person on the other end of the call. And finally, productivity. Time spent selecting, arranging, and changing music must be kept to a minimum. Meeting the needs of patients and other customers is always the top priority. Also, headsets and earphones should not be used because they can reduce the technician's ability to hear the telephone, machine cycle alarms, questions from coworkers, and other important sounds that they are a part of the job. Infection prevention or technology. Phones and other personal technologies carried into the department from outside sources may pose an infection prevention concern. Handling those items with clean hands may recontaminate hands. Check with your department for specific policies regarding personal communication technologies. Human relations. CS technicians may have the knowledge and skills required to do their job properly, but they cannot be successful unless they know how to get along with their supervisors, peers, and customers. Professional CS employees possess the following human relations skills. They recognize each of their fellow employees as individuals and, when possible, incorporate this understanding into how they interact with the other staff members. They contribute effectively to their team because this benefits the department, facility, profession, and patients. They develop a genuine spirit of cooperation and teamwork amongst themselves, their peers, and those at higher organizational levels. It is relatively easy to talk about human relations skills' positive impact on the organization. However, it is much more difficult for CS technicians to consistently apply these skills. The workplace requires staff members to interact with many employees of different backgrounds, interests, challenges, and job responsibilities. Such factors make it increasingly difficult to practice effective human relations. There are numerous ways that CS technicians effectively apply their human relations skills on the job. For example, they take responsibility for maintaining positive working relationships with supervisors, peers, and others in the healthcare facility. Act in a professional manner. Serve as a contributing member of the department and healthcare team. Accept the responsibility to continually learn and, when applicable, help their peers to do so as well. Promote cooperation among their peers. This is done by helping others, sharing knowledge and experience, and trying to understand the perspectives of others. Accept full responsibility for their own actions or inactions, and do not try to pass the blame onto another person, shift, or department. Now that we have defined human relations and established ways for CS technicians to improve communication and relationships with their supervisors, peers, and customers, it is necessary to also understand the outcomes of these interactions. Behaviors that can impede success. Being successful in the workplace involves much more than having the technical skills to perform a job. The following are common behaviors that can impede success. Refusing to follow directions, orders, policies, and procedures. Being unwilling to adapt to change. Talking too much and/or conducting personal business while at work. Demonstrating inconsistent and unreliable work behaviors. Engaging in gossip and other behaviors that reduce group productivity, failing to get along with others, being dishonest and lacking integrity on the job, failing to complete assignments in a timely manner, making or contributing to excessive errors, regularly missing work or being tardy, abusing substances. Central service technicians in teamwork. Individuals must work as part of a team because the work they do relates directly to that being done by others. Consider, for example, that the main goal of every CS technician, like all other staff members employed by the facility, is to help the patients. Teamwork is essential for ensuring that the patients are best served. What one employee does or does not do affects the work of others and also impacts the success or failure of the CS department. For example, staff in the decontamination area may work intently to clean turnaround instruments as quickly and safely as possible, and the assembly technicians may assemble and package them as quickly as is feasible. However, if the instruments are not put in the sterilizer as soon as possible, a delay will occur that could impact the surgical staff and jeopardize the patient care. Teamwork is beneficial to the facility in other ways as well. For example, it can improve productivity through increased staff cooperation, increase employee job satisfaction, improve the work environment by creating a common purpose for staff members, and decrease job-related stress. Factors impacting teamwork. Developing a culture where teamwork is valued and practiced requires the dedication and equal effort of each team member. Several factors must be present for team work to occur. Attitude. A proper attitude is the most important factor driving effective teamwork. Attitudes of CS technicians about their job, peers, and patients impact their actions. An employee's attitude is often influenced by coworkers. If everyone on the team gets along, likes their jobs and the facility, and wants to provide good service, each staff member will probably have a good attitude. By contrast, if a coworker has a negative attitude about the job, supervisor, or the facility, and does not care about the quality of work, teamwork will suffer. Definition. Attitude. Emotions that can cause a person to react to people and or situations in a predetermined way. Also, factors impacting teamwork are the following characteristics which are vital for an effective team. Cooperation. To provide good service, one must be willing to assist and work with other employees. Promptness. When an employee is late to work or does not show up, the remaining members of the team must work harder. As a result, work quality and morale can suffer. Trust. An effective member of the team trusts coworkers and supervisors. Coworkers and supervisors also trust each team member. Simon, I think we should stop.
Okay, you say and I will shut the door. What? I will shut the door.